on this because people have been asking and waiting and wishing, what's he going to say? What's he going to do?
They want to know.
Nicholas Rosario's first
Here we-
official mock draft is here,
well,
ladies
thank
and
you.
gentlemen. We've been waiting. We've been waiting. And it's here. It's here. Nick, I've been scratching my head, man. I know you're only doing 1 through 16 this week.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna
scratching
do
my
it in
head.
2
Where are you
parts.
going? How are you gonna pick? Who are you gonna put where? So hey, without further ado, Nick, do your thing, man.
All right, thanks. But I mean, after that opening, I really hope I live up to what everybody's hoping for here. Because again, I don't think I have to say this, but I'll preface it just by saying, this is what I think, given what I've read, the stuff I've seen, the stuff I've heard. You try to put these things together and think, these are the team needs. This is what they could use. There's no trades in this one. I did it without trades, just so you know. I'm not trying to prognosticate all of that stuff. But this is a straight 1 through 16 right now with team needs and what I thought, what I've been hearing, what I've been reading, what I've been seeing. And, of course, we start with number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think everybody would be fooled if Trevor Lawrence is not the number 1 pick come April 29th, okay? Yep. Again, we all know the accolades, 6'6", 220, quarterback out of Clemson. Most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of the draft, obviously. If you're Urban Meyer, you have to take Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you just do. There's no 80 ways, it's just there's no real discussion there. We know that. Jacksonville, number 1, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. Number 2, a point of contention for a lot of people because a lot of people think that Sam Darnold is definitely on his way out, and I'm one of them. There's been a lot of trade talk, especially lately. So this could change. This is my mock draft, but this could change tomorrow, depending on if something gets done. But the talk of the town, and I have to kind of agree with it because of just them moving on from Sam Darnold, even though you might be saying, well, aren't they getting Sam Darnold if they draft this guy? Zach Wilson, number 2 out of BYU, quarterback, 6'3", 209, live arm. Broke a lot of passing records at BYU. BYU has always had kind of a history of guys who like to sling the ball. Jimmy Mack, Ty Detmer, these guys like to go out there and throw the ball. And when you're in that high-octane air out there in the Mountain West, I mean, you can throw the ball as far as you want. So we'll see how he does with the cold air in New York if he goes there, huh? But right now, number 2, coming off the board, quarterback after quarterback, Zach Wilson, BYU, number 2. Miami Dolphins, number 3. Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. And I'll tell you why. No, this is as far as pure athletes and as far, when you have a high pick like this, one of the things you want to do is also take the best athlete available. If it's also something you need, it's even the better. And definitely Miami needs receiving help.
Yeah.
And who better than the LSU standout, Jamar Chase?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got a quarterback now. You're obviously going to go with Tua. You've made that decision last year. So here you go. There's rumors again. Fitzpatrick is retiring. So Tua's definitely the guy. What do? Now you start getting him the weapons he needs. And one of them is a wide receiver. Can't lose with Jamar Chase out of LSU, my friend.
Nice.
Number 4, Atlanta Falcons. Now this one, there's, people will probably be like, I have them taking Justin Fields, quarterback from Ohio State. 6'3", 227. We all know what Justin Fields did. National title game, playing hurt, all that good stuff. The kid shows grit. He shows some good leadership ability. And I think Atlanta is ready to move on from Matt Ryan. They know his time is pretty much over, whether they give him another year or not, which they probably will. But I still think you draft a quarterback here. Again, you want to go for best athlete available and a need that you have. Though they also have some other defensive needs and things like that. But I think it's hard to pass up a guy like Justin Fields when he's available at that spot.
Right.
Because it's such a quarterback-heavy draft in that sense, you got a number 4 spot here. You want to take a guy. This guy could be your future with receivers like Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and other offensive weapons. Justin Fields could do a lot of great things in Atlanta. So for right now, I have Atlanta taking Justin Fields, number 4. Number 5, and I don't think this has ever changed. I think I've talked about this before. Cincinnati Bengals, what do you need? You got to protect your investment in Joe Burrow. You take Penei Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon. The best tackle listed on the board, Outland Trophy winner, 6'6", 331. The guy's just a beast. And you need someone to protect good old Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I think this is a no-brainer. I think for a lot of people, like most drafts I've seen, have Sewell going to Cincinnati at 5. I think it's almost a lock. I think you can pretty much count on that one as being pretty sure. Number 6, this one's a little different, but Delata, you were talking earlier, and I don't know if you know this, and I'm not trying to, but Philadelphia has actually been shopping Zach Ertz lately because of what he's making this year.
Heard about that.
They don't want to pay him that 13, 14 million I think he's owed this year. And they've been shopping kind of his name. They've put his name out there for trades. And this is the reason why I say that at number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles take tight end Kyle Pitts from Florida. 6'6", 240. This guy is beyond tight end. He's almost like having another receiver. And what do the Eagles need, and more than anything, is a playmaker. You need someone who will go and get the ball, score you touchdowns, and improve your offense. And
no, I mean, I get it. I guess the only reason I said that is because ESPN had reported that the owner wants to build around Jalen Hurts.
Exactly.
This would help him.
But that's the only reason I mentioned it.
No, absolutely. No, but that's what I'm saying. And why not? Again, when you go for athletes available at where you are, at number 6, a tight end who's 6'6", 240, who catches like a receiver. Can you imagine Jalen Hurts throwing to that guy? Phenomenal.
Right.
So I'm going tight end Kyle Pitts, Florida, number 6 to the Eagles.
Okay.
And number 7, I also struggled with. Detroit Lions have a few needs. But now that you got Jared Goff in there, you might have a couple of wide receivers as free agents who might leave, and so a lot of people were picking wide receivers for Detroit at this spot. But for me, it's hard to pass up when you need help in the middle of your defense to pass up Micah Parsons. I have Detroit Lions taking Micah Parsons out of Penn State, 6'3", 245, All-American, All Big Ten, and the Butkus Fitzgerald Award winner for Best Linebacker. It's an award they created in 2011 for Big Ten. So this guy's everything you want in a linebacker. And here's a stat for you. I did come across this when I was doing some research. Last year, Detroit allowed 19 rushing plays to gain at least 10-plus yards, which was tied for second in the NFL.
Wow.
They need somebody to plug up that middle and to make tackles and to stop that run game.
Yep.
And right now, there's probably no better athlete in this draft at that point than Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. So I think the Lions look at that and go, that's an attractive, we need help. Yes, you can still go get receivers. You can sign free agents. There's going to be some free agent receivers, out there. So I think you go with Micah Parsons at 7 if you're Detroit, and let's start shoring up that defense a little bit. Number 8, Carolina Panthers. I think I talked about this before in terms of like when I was scouting quarterbacks, where people might end up. As much as I like Teddy Bridgewater, I still think Carolina drafts a quarterback here at number 8. Trey Lance, North Dakota State, 6'4", 227, like we said, live arm, big-bodied kid, be able to run that Carolina off. You got Christian McCaffrey there, a couple other guys. It's one of those things where you could have maybe taken, you could say, well, then what about Mac Jones or Kyle Trask? I think Trey Lance would fit more into what Carolina does and what they'd like to do, just because he can run as well and get out of the pocket. So number 8, Carolina, we go with Trey Lance, 6'4", 227 on North Dakota State. Now we go to number 9, Denver Broncos, and now we're going to go, we got rid of a lot of the offensive guys in this draft so far. Now we're going to start with some defense because there's some definite needs here, especially at cornerback for the Broncos. I have them taking Patrick Surtain II, Alabama, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, 6'2", 203. So your prototypical kind of cornerback. Maybe another inch or two taller would be great. But again, Patrick is phenomenal. Again, when you're the SEC Defensive Player of the Year in a league that does nothing but score, that says something. So to me, Denver has a glaring need. What do? You fill it with a Patrick Surtain. Obviously, we know his father played in the NFL as well, so he's got a pedigree. But the kid comes in, looks good, can defend one-on-one, so Patrick Surtain II, Denver Broncos at number 9. Now here we go. Number 10, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as we know, Dak has now gotten his deal. So, as far as little pieces to supplement the offense, fine, because some guy, one or two guys may go, whatever. But defense is big for Dallas. They need we have a corner. I have them taking cornerback Caleb Farley out of Virginia, who did skip Virginia Tech. Sorry, he skipped this year to 2020, but listed at 6'2", 207. A guy who can go, like I said. My biggest thing with cornerbacks, and I think with anybody's thing, is you have to be able to cover. You have to be able to push a guy off the line or be able to run with him, be able to shadow him, make sure you got. So I think Caleb Farley has all these assets. Only played a couple of years, but solid guy. Virginia Tech. You got to go Caleb Farley to the Cowboys. Definitely need some cornerback help there in Dallas. The New York Football Giants come in at number 11 here this year. And of course, same thing with them. You kind of go, you're looking at athletes, who's around, what is your need? I think wide receiver. I say Jalen Waddell goes to New York at number 11. And we talked about Jalen a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, people, and as much as we go through this, and as much as I thought, maybe Devontae Smith, because I just think the overall consensus now is that actually Jalen Waddle is probably the better pickup. Wow. And so the Giants are looking at this sort of thing. Like I said, you go out and get the best athlete that's available, because now you're starting to get into the double digits in the draft, and guys are starting to come off the board, and you're looking, hey, what is my need? What do I need here? They definitely need some wide receiver help, and why not Jalen Waddell? Good, San Francisco, number 12. A lot of interesting talk here, too, because obviously they're talking about quarterbacks, what's going to happen with Jimmy G, this and that, but defense especially needs to be sewn up a little bit there. So I have them taking cornerback J.C. Horn, sat out. He did sit out 2020 as well, 6'1", 205. But again, a guy who can cover, stay with you one-on-ones, got a little bit of speed. San Francisco may go a different way. This is just how I see it. Like I said, sometimes, I could be wrong, but I think that, again, in the grand scheme of these, I think they'll shore up their quarterback, thing either way. They can always do that through, this with the free agency or you can't at that point. There's no reason for San Francisco to go after a quarterback or go after a receiver or anything like that. You need help on your defense. I see you take J.C. Horn. Number 13, and I think I've never gotten off this. I've always said that this is a perfect place for this particular pick, and it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Offensive tackle Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Mm-hmm. We already talked about him a few weeks ago. 6'3", 315. Guy didn't allow a sack the year before, which is almost amazing, playing in that Big Ten. No, it is. I mean, to me, that was a great stat to find. But yeah, you got to protect your guy. You got Justin Herbert. They're now coming for his second year. And it's interesting. Like I said, I want to divert just for a second, because not that this guy is great or like we didn't really get the chance to see that, but do you find it funny that nobody's talking about Tyrod Taylor? Free agent quarterbacks or trade possibilities.
Yep.
Huh.
Does anybody else find that funny? That I
think it's crazy.
He's all of a sudden the forgotten man. Like Justin, the doctor screws him up by puncturing his lung, and Justin Herbert comes in and just takes his job.
The doctor, right? Dr. Herbert.
Right. Well, I'm saying, say what you will, but all of a sudden Tyrod was out of a job. So again, just a little side note.
That's a good point. But
again, you want to protect Justin Herbert. He's your quarterback going forward. Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. And the thing is, people are talking about the fact that at 6'3", maybe just a little short to play tackle in the NFL. So you could always move him inside to guard or center if you needed to. But a phenomenal lineman nonetheless. So again, offensive line, Chargers, you go Rashawn Slater. Minnesota, number 14, of course, needs defensive help. We already know about their quarterback situation and their offensive situation, even though they did let Kyle Rudolph go. But Gregory Rousseau, who is the edge rusher out of Miami, kid is 6'7", 265. Right? He was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Minnesota would do themselves a great service by signing this kid. I'm telling you, because you need defense. And this kid can provide it for you off of that edge rush. And this is what you want. You want someone to rush the quarterback. So I think for number 14, Minnesota, his kid's available, should be available at this point. I think you go and grab him. It's definitely a need you have. It's a big need you have. New England, I kind of played with this one, and this is where you go again. New England could go a couple of different ways here. It's if you want to get the correct spelling, Sean, it's Roussseau.
Okay.
It's pronounced like I must be, maybe it's French, that Rousseau.
Rousseau.
Roussseau. Right. Just so we get, because I don't want, I don't want his mama calling me, getting mad at me that we say we spelled his name wrong like Patrick Mahomes did. But
right.
It's not Pat Mahomes. It's
I appreciate that. Look, let's move on. I don't want to get mad.
Rousseau's mother calling us, yelling at us about stuff.
Right.
Greg's mom, if you're watching, I'm very sorry. All right?
No, sorry.
But yeah, Minnesota definitely could use an edge rusher, and Greg's available here at 14. Go ahead and swoop him up. You want to take the best athlete you got going here, you do that. New England at 15. Now, because I gave away Jalen Waddell at number 11 to the Giants, I thought I'd make up for it here. Now, again, if he's available at 15, this is kind of a steal. But Devontae Smith, we all know New England definitely could use some receiver help. They haven't had like a top name receiver, in a couple of years. They're struggling mightily there. Obviously, the quarterback situation is something they may address because there's rumors that they trade up with San Francisco at 12 to draft a quarterback. And that's still a possibility, obviously. But here again, I'm going with the no trade one. New England at 15. On my chart, Devontae Smith is there. You take him 6'1", 174. But obviously, we all know what Devontae did, his pedigree. What he did in the championship game was just amazing. The guy can go and get the ball, score touchdown. And boy, does New England need that desperately. So 15, I have the Patriots taking Devontae Smith. And my final pick of the night, we're doing 1 through 16 this week. Again, just as a reminder, 17 through 32 next week. So Arizona Cardinals come in at 16 here.
Okay.
And I thought about this for a minute. You've sewn up a lot of your defense. You got J.J. Watt now. You still have Chandler Jones, who was hurt, but now he's out of the woods, and he'll come back strong. You still got your secondary. So what does Arizona go after? A running back, somebody who can carry the football. And who better, I might say, than running back Travis Etienne out of Clemson. 205. Now think about it. Two-time ACC Offensive Player and ACC Player of the Year, holds records. Just listen to it. You know how the ACC is. But he's he has rushing yards for 4,952. He leads in rushing touchdown, record for rushing touchdowns 70. Leads for total touchdowns in 78. Total yards from scrimmage 6,107. And total games with a touchdown. He scored in 46 games. This is a guy, if you put him on the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and who knows whoever else they go and pick up, now you're talking, my friend. I like Travis Etienne, running back, number 16, Arizona Cardinals.
Wow.
There we go.
So,
maybe some surprises there, may not be, but that for right now, that is Nick Rosario's 1 through 16. I hope you've enjoyed that. Now you can all yell at me and tell me I'm an idiot. There we go. It's out there. You can come at me. I can take it. I'm a big boy. These are huge shoulders. I'm a Chicagoan. I live for this.
There we go.
Let's do this. So yeah. But anyway, so next week we will have 17 through 32 to finish the first round. So yeah, let me know what you think. Like I said, I welcome feedback. I welcome comments. If anyone has something to say about 1 through 16, absolutely. I will address it. No problem. We can talk. But again, next week, 17 through 32, which includes the beloved Washington football team of Sean Spencer and the Bears of Chicago for Delilah and I. So you don't want to miss next week for sure, because there will be a lot to discuss. Let me tell you. So there you go, folks.
So I had a question. So I actually saw an interview today about the 16th pick, and the interview was with Najee Harris, who is identical to Travis Etienne. Now, I don't think you drop off any way if you go either direction.
No, and I considered Najee here as well. I did.
Right.
As a matter of fact, in a previous draft of my draft, I actually had Najee going 16 to the Cardinals. I changed my mind. Yeah. I did. I thought about it.
So he did an interview. I saw him do an interview today, and they asked who would his dream spot be, and it's just funny. And he said the Cardinals. He said you got the defense, you got Kyler, and the guys on the offense.
And they need a running back. And so, what better way to bolster your offense than in the draft with a top 16 pick? You know, I mean, again, it's like they're at 16 sitting there in the catbird seat, man, because
Cardinals are going to be something to watch.
There's some good running backs in the draft. They're overshadowed by the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, so the running backs are, I haven't done my running back. Remember, we were doing every week. I hadn't gotten to running backs yet. I did offensive line, receivers, and quarterbacks. And there's again a couple of running backs in here that are really they can be really steals in this late first round for teams because there's just so many quarterbacks, so many receivers that are going to be picked high. And and again, let's be honest. As much as I hate this, because I love a good ground and pound. I'm a defensive guy. Run the ball down somebody's throat, smash mouth them, just hit them in the face. And that's not the NFL anymore. It really isn't. Running backs are not at a premium as they once were. Wide receivers and quarterbacks are the way to go, it seems, in drafts now. So running backs get put, so when a running back, I don't know. Like I said, we all know how that's going. We watch the NFL. We see how this is, but I still love a good running back who can take it, put it down your throat, smash right through you. And I'm telling you, I fear the Cardinals if this happens.
I'm telling you, man.
For Travis Etienne, I fear the Cardinals next season.
Look out!
Another year.
NFC West. Woo!
Yeah.